Let's go back in time. The year is 2015. Anime is booming, more shows are appearing each season. Not every single one is good, but with more there is a higher chance to better shows to come. The more, the best, right? We didn't know how much we would regret these words. We got Shogeki no Soma making its anime debut, Ori no Sora, who was forgotten, Kikai Seisen or Blood Blockade Battlefront being a banger of a show, Ayaya Season 2. There were tons of anime to watch, but I want to review one in particular, the second most popular show in that season. This is a review of Danmachi. Please subscribe if you want to see more and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. We follow Belle Planel, a pure innocent femboy who lives with the hundreds years old Opai Loli goddess Hestia. This is actually true. To survive in the southeast side of Verrock, Belle has to go to the dungeon crawling in the Twitch chat section in hope to collect loot and sell to the guild members so they can survive. However, if the title of the anime doesn't make it clear, this is actually our side quest. In this anime, our protagonist's main objective is to get laid. There is a problem though. We have to talk to women. And by being the worst adventure, our protagonist got saved instead by the greatest Twitch streamer in the Twitch basement dungeon. Now we're following this saga where Belle has to grow stronger not only himself but also recruiting crewmates to his Twitch streamer house in hopes to gather attention and be recognized by his own queen and finally get laid in the Twitch dungeon by becoming the greatest streamer of all. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon has to be in the top 10 worst anime names ever? At the time of 2015. What we didn't expect is that Danmachi would be deceiving us. I remember a lot of people saying that at the time that this was another SAO clone, but instead of going up the floors, we would dive down into the dungeon. I absolutely disagree. It's way better than Sword Art Online in so many ways. It has character development, both for protagonists and side characters, world building, good pacing. It did all the check marks where SAO failed to cross, and different from SAO, the anime promised you a harem show, and it actually delivers much more. Danmachi Season 1 is a fantastic anime that I watch every 3 to 4 years and I totally recommend it. This is the third time I watch it since 2015 and I keep finding it as good as I remember. Oh my god, I'm getting old. World building is fantastic. From the start of the anime, it shows us the main city, Orario. However, it treats the theme of getting girls first. The anime doesn't start with an amazing fight. It's Belle running away from monsters and getting saved by Ice, which he goes to tell his guild counselor that he fell in love. But the anime deceives you by giving you so much from the world and characters in these small moments. A dark and dangerous dungeon with many floors, a market around it, the city and a guild in charge of it. By focusing on the girls first, it gives us the generic fantasy setting in a seamless way, where it doesn't question the audience. If you don't get what I'm saying, tell me, how many isekai that you watched that the main character goes to the guild for the first time and the guild lady or whoever it is explain how the whole quest, reward, ranking, whatever they call, how many times they gave you this stupid tutorial, but in anime? Danmachi show and don't tell. They show us Belle looting the monsters and with a single scene how he gets the money. I love it. This reminds me, this anime does feature RPG numbers. Ah yes, remember the times when seeing the anime use RPG numbers in game UI wasn't weird and was kinda unique. But unfortunately this plagues Danmachi, kinda. They didn't use it, at least not in the lazy format. The adventurers make contracts with gods, and there is a giant tattoo in their back that can show their status. It's not just numbers goes up, they require God's blessing to improve themselves. To acquire magic, for example, there are many inventive ways. The anime doesn't make something out of the goal, it is RPG inspired, but they don't break the rules of the game just to give the main character power. At least not in the first 8 episodes of the anime. The last arc is kind of a fiesta, not gonna lie, but I've seen worse, it's not that bad. Speaking of main character, look, Everyone of the cast loves Bell, and I can see why. He is an honest and a cute main character who succeeds at everything, except at romance. Someone like him should have matured a little in this department to the end of the season after all that happened, but he didn't. He's still the shy virgin kid when it's about girls, which is such a difference from the evolution he had from being an unexperienced adventurer to the experienced one he eventually becomes later in the show. It would be okay if he wasn't the best guy when speaking to girls. I'm not saying he should be the chaddest of chads, but the way that this is always a gag feels frustrating, especially when you take Hesse's feelings in consideration. In the first episode, she gets heartbroken that he fell in love for another girl, and because of that, he got his first skill, which makes him stronger as long as the feeling exists. But she avoids revealing that to him, maybe to not increase his ego, or because she simply can't accept it. This could be a great plot for a romance, but it's not. Essia only acts this way at the first episode, and talking about her, I think she's a decent character. She's really one-sided and is obsessed for Bell and goes her way to help and support him. Nothing that complex about her, but it's not something bad. For both of them being these purest type of characters, it makes for some great moments in my opinion. They are a pure joy to watch. Yes, I'm talking about the Lily redemption arc, which wouldn't work so well if Bell was always suspicious of her. Instead, he goes his way to trust her, get tricked, and save her anyway. Because that's the name of the show. That's what the anime promised you, and that's why the characters are that way, and it works. I can't say that the anime doesn't deliver. The anime does, and it's so good. Animation is top tier, the battles are freaking amazing, there is some bad CGI but they don't use much and it's barely noticeable, you won't mind it. The shots and lighting of some backgrounds are good, the way they animate the dark caves of the dungeon, the golden sky of the sunset and the sunrise before Belle goes into the dungeon are so pretty. Even a night in the pub with the music set us for a mood for this fantasy show. I can't describe it enough, better watch it. Talking about the music, it's great. They set the tone not only for the combat, but for the daily slice of life scenes and even some dramatic ones. I will say the classic phrase, it's so good that you can even notice. The opening is terrible. I disliked it before and I still dislike it now, and also in contrast to the songs, the sound effects, the battle ones, are so damn loud. The anime could do some audio balancing. The sound team probably slipped their fingers when increasing the bass of some sound effects. I didn't notice that before, maybe because I'm using headphones now, so yeah, headphone users beware. Another thing I have forgotten, this show is quite horny, not only in character design like the goddess's outfit, or eyes having a hole in the boob armor for whatever reason. I watched Shadiversity, boob armor reviewer TM, this does not make sense. But the scenes, the design of the guys and girls bodies, even the classic anime camera angles are suspicious. This anime has ecchi, but it doesn't get in the way of the adventure or the combat, which I give props to that. It never felt it disrupted the story, but it's more of a gag. It treats fanservice as fanservice. Overall, I really like Danmachi, at least season 1. I watched season 2, which I'm considering making a video about it soon. If you didn't notice for the lack of uploads, I'm not watching that much anime this season. Every time I tried to write something, it was more pretentious and corny than the usual. But thankfully, Danmachi reminded me that I don't need to watch every new anime, no matter how good it is. And that's fine. As long as you're enjoying it, you should watch it at your own pace.